Today, President Trump welcomed Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to Washington, where the leaders held a bilateral meeting. The White House says the Saudi Crown Prince committed to an investment of $600 billion in the United States, though during an official bilateral meeting, the Crown Prince floated, increasing its pledge to almost $1 trillion. We wanted to take a look at some of the current economic connections between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. Last year, the two countries traded a total of about $40 billion in goods and services. The U.S.'s top exports to the country include machinery like turbojet engines and vehicles, while Saudi Arabia's top exports to the U.S. include fertilizer and organic chemicals. When it comes to direct financial investment, which involves Saudi individuals or businesses investing cash directly into a U.S. business, that figure is about $16.3 billion, according to the U.S. Department of Commerce. It includes funding sectors like transportation, real estate, automobiles, communications firms, and financial services. Saudi Arabia's government has also invested directly into U.S. companies through its sovereign wealth fund. The fund is essentially a giant portfolio of stocks, bonds, real estate, and other monetary assets controlled by Saudi Arabia's government that it can invest, similar to how you would invest your 401k. It's worth an estimated $925 billion and is controlled by bin Salman. According to the fund, 40% of all of its global investments are directed to the U.S., whether that's through companies or by purchasing goods and services. Some of the U.S. companies that it currently has stakes in include Uber and the video game companies Electronic Arts and Take-Two Interactive. In the past, the fund has invested in firms like Netflix, Apple, Visa, and Walmart. Despite the Crown Prince's and Trump's remarks today, the actual total investment could be different from what is projected. For example, in 2017, during Trump's first term, he stated there was a $110 billion defense agreement between the two countries. A CBS News analysis of Defense Security Cooperation Agency records found the actual total between 2017 and 2020 was closer to $23 billion. Defense analysts concluded that higher valuation came from Saudi letters of interest and not actual contracts guaranteeing the spending. I'm joined now by Elliott House. She is a senior fellow at Harvard Kennedy School's Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs. She has spent years reporting on international affairs and wrote a book on bin Salman titled The Man Who Would Be King. Thank you so much for being here. Saudi Arabia's economy has seen declines in recent years. It is an economy heavily reliant on its oil industry. That's something the Crown Prince has been working to change over the past decade. Foreign investments are a big part of that. How do the Crown Prince and President Trump see economic ties with one another as mutually beneficial?
I think they do right now, but it's investment is the bigger issue because our trade, as you noted, with each other is not big. We don't buy a lot of oil from them. China is their biggest trading partner. But the Crown Prince is interested in American investment in Saudi Arabia, and Trump is interested in Saudi investment in the U.S. So they both had a good time today talking to each other about investment, whether this $1 trillion investment that the Crown Prince mentioned materializes. I would be surprised because, as you noted, the earlier talk of a $110 billion defense buy hasn't yet materialized. So there's a lot of promise that doesn't necessarily follow through, but you can see the two of them enjoying talking with each other about investment and what good buddies they are.
Did that part of the relationship and display of what seemed like mutual affection surprise you?
No. I mean, the Crown Prince and Trump are both very big men, and they both want to be seen as movers and shakers on the world stage. They met initially when the Crown Prince was here early in Trump's first presidency, when Angela Merkel got stranded in New York in a snowstorm, and so Mohammed bin Salman came to lunch with the president instead of Angela Merkel, and they clearly do enjoy each other's company, and I think understand that each of them at some level is playing the other a little bit.
You've been covering Saudi Arabia for years and watching bin Salman's transformation. What was your takeaway in watching him?
In his country or today?
Both.
I mean, watching him in Saudi Arabia, he has very much transformed the country. He comes across as a charismatic, confident, and natural person. Not all. He's not normally wearing that that formal bish that he had on today. He's usually just wearing a white thobe and nothing on his head, and just talking to you like a normal person. That's what's most interesting about him.
All right, Karen, Elliott House, thank you so much for your time.